you done now?
Broadcasting live from Houston, Texas, and around the world. TV host, best-selling author, and radio personality Brad Gilmore brings you a collection of conversations with stars from movies.
Mark Wahlberg.
Hey, how are you?
The legendary Mr. Christopher Lloyd. Christopher, how are we doing?
I'm doing good. Great introduction.
Television.
Jimmy Fallon joins us this morning. Jimmy, how you doing, my friend?
Good morning. Thank you so much, Brad, for having me. I appreciate this, bud.
Kelly Ripa.
Brad, thank you for having me.
Comedy.
Jay Leno joins us. Jay, how you doing?
Hey, Brad, what's going on?
Gabriel Fluffy Iglesias.
Good morning.
Music.
Lola Monroe.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Grammy Award winner Maya joins us.
How are you?
And more. This is The Collection. Now your host, The Boat, Brad Gilmore.
And he joins me right now. We're talking about season 3 of Home Economics, which is on ABC Wednesdays at 8:30 Central. He is the man, the guy. He's the executive producer and the star of the show. Topher Grace joins us this morning. Topher, congratulations on all the show's success.
I want that intro every morning when I get up. That's the right intro, man.
Hey, man, well, look, we're talking about Home Economics. This show is on ABC, for people who don't know. You're in the 3rd season, and the show's got a real vibe to it. It's real fun. I binge-watched a lot of it over the last few days. Tell the people who aren't familiar so far, I mean, season 3 is a big deal, but tell the people about Home Economics, kind of the premise of it.
Hey, thanks a lot for checking it out. It's one of my favorite things I've done. It's just so much fun. It's about siblings, adult siblings, which shows aren't usually about. Although a lot of grown-ups have siblings, and one of them is super rich. One of them is kind of, very middle class, and one of them is kind of struggling to get by. They all live in the same city. And this year, we just found out we have another sibling. So in a show that's about siblings, we found out we have this half sibling, and that's what this super size kind of Thanksgiving episode we're doing is about. Is her meeting the family. It's really interesting, and also it's really funny because it's so interesting.
Now, as far as the show goes, you star in it, and there's an executive producer credit to your name. What does that EP credit bring? Do you have with great power and bringing that great responsibility, or what exactly does the executive producer title do for you?
No. There's very little power. The thing that I was really obsessed about, because I've been on a TV show and done that before, it was such a great dream team, is I just really want to be a part of the casting of the show. So when I started, I got to sit in and meet everyone and kind of say, like, let's go in this direction, or let's look at this person. And what was so important to me was just getting the most incredible group of people, because you wind up spending years of your life with these people if the thing works out. And it's because of those great people that you get to spend years together. And I just feel so lucky that I got to be on a second dream team. I'm like fanning out every day over my castmates.
Yeah, you have to nail it, right? I mean, the dynamic has to be there. I'm sure like big names probably come in, or names that we would all know come in to read or audition for these shows. And is it hard not to just be attracted to the big name, or were you looking for, hey, it has to be the right thing?
That's actually a really good question. No one's ever asked me that, but the truth is, yeah, there were some people like that who came in who I would have felt a little more comfortable, especially at the beginning before the show's going. You go, who am I going to be on this poster with? And we started to realize the writing is so good. It's really, the writers do such a great job, but it's very subtle. And it was really hard for a lot of people to do. And I'm glad the actors who are on the show now didn't know this at the time, but they were the only ones who could have done it. Like, we looked at so many hundreds of people, and the people who were on the show are the only ones for that role who kind of got the tone of it. It's a kind of a very subtle show for a network show. So yeah, it was a real search, but then you go, every time I look at someone, I go, I know this is the best person in the world for this role because I helped look,
Oh man, that's incredible. It's good that you were able to find that camaraderie, because you can feel it on the show. I mean, the way that the dialogue goes, kind of the vibe of the show, the pacing, the rhythm of it. You could tell that y'all, not only are you in your 3rd season, but these were the right characters, or the right actors for the right characters. This is a nerdy question, so forgive me if you don't have the exact answer for it, but I have to know. I love how the shows are titled, and that might be a weird thing to hear, but the shows will have like the name. For instance, one of the episodes is called Mickey Ears, 1999. And as far as the dollar sign, where was that idea come from? Because I really think it's a really cool thing.
Well, it's the Hayworth family. It's not a coincidence that the name Worth is in their name. It's the entry point to the show is that they're all at different places economically, but you start to find out they're all kind of in the same place emotionally. They all really love each other, even though there's huge wealth gaps between them, including this new sibling who shows up is very different than the other three of them. But to me, it's the writers kind of putting value on different things. Our season finale last year was called Trip to Space, $1 million, but we've had titles that are as low as $2. That's what's so great about a show like this. It's about, there's no one that the show doesn't speak to, and that's important when you're on a show that's being seen by so many people.
Home Economics, again, on ABC Wednesdays at 8:30 Central Time. Make sure everybody goes checks it out. I have a question for you, man, because one of the movies that I've really loved that you were in is a movie called Take Me Home Tonight. It was kind of based in the 80s. I'm not a child of the 80s, but I love everything to do with the 80s. So it would be my question to you, Mr. Topher Grace. What are your favorite 80s movies of all time?
First of all, that was the first thing I produced, so I really, really appreciate the question, and I love that movie. It was so much fun. Probably the most fun I ever had on a movie. I would put that at the top, but when the 80s movies we were trying to replicate when we did that were those John Hughes movies, 16 Candles and The Breakfast Club, and, movies that were really trying to not just be teen movies, but kind of say something more. But as I get older, the more I love older stuff. I feel like the minute I had kids, I stopped understanding pop culture today entirely. And now I'm just like, I'm a nostalgic old man, basically.
So, do you have 80s go-tos? Are you a Back to the Future guy? Do we like Fletch? Are we a Clue the Movie person? Like, where are we in the 80s?
It's my favorite film of all time. I love Back to the Future, but I don't see that as an 80s movie. It's so classic. I would say favorite, 80s movie is probably, I don't know. I just watched Poltergeist again. That's really good. Cobra Kai's got me feeling that Karate Kid thing. Come on, I love it all. I even love the bad stuff now that I've gotten older.
Me too, man. Me too. I was all in on a Jay Leno movie the other day called Collision Course that I've never seen before. So I like even the bad 80s stuff, man. But hey, Home Economics Season 3 is going down on ABC right now. Have you seen Collision Course?
Yeah, you're talking. It's him and Pat
Morita
from the Karate Kid name. Yeah.
Yeah, crazy movie, man. Home Economics Season 3 is going down right now on ABC. Topher Grace, I got time for one more question for you. When I was growing up, a movie that I watched, and it was the first time I ever saw kind of an actor portraying themselves, at least that I can think of, was when you were in the Ocean's movies, 11 and 12. And your appearance in Ocean's 12 is really a fan of mine because, you make some real insider kind of meta references. How did you get involved with those Ocean's movies?
Well, first of all, most fun shooting days of all time because to get to go and hang out with that cast for a couple of days was insane each time I did it. The first film I did was called Traffic, which is a movie that Steven Soderbergh directed. He also directed the Ocean's 11 trilogy. And so Traffic was, I played like a crack addict. It was a very different, dark type of drama. But when we had finished that, he asked me, would I come play myself in this movie? And I thought, I don't really understand. People weren't doing it as much back then. And I said, sure, as long as I can play the biggest douchebag version of myself. And I did. He's not a good guy, even though I'm playing myself.
Yeah, man. Love those movies. Love your appearance in them. But again, Home Economics, everybody. I encourage everyone to go check out the show. It's a whole lot of fun, man. The dialogue and the writing is so good, and the cast is great as well. Topher Grace, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Man, I really appreciate it. Thanks for checking it out. And yeah, it's probably the most fun I've ever had making something. So thanks, man.